Hi guys, Office Bloke Dave here.
And I am Ash.
Together we are Office Bloke Dave and I'm Ash.
Yes, I'm Ash's flat.
We're recording round at your place and I've changed the setup a little bit from last time.
Quite a bit actually this time.
Yeah, it's so much simpler, and if it works like this, you're going to have to let us know out there.
Yes.
Does it look okay? Does it sound okay? I'm going to do my best, but I think this is an easier and better option.
Yes.
I'm basically using my phone instead of a webcam.
I know, and no microphone as well.
Yeah.
So let us know. Hopefully it comes out alright.
Phone microphones are pretty decent.
Yes.
Like they're great at cutting out the background noise and stuff like that.
Because as I've said, I like your place, but I love my flat. And the more you can spend here, the better.
People want us to move in together so we can get more content out. So if you really are sure of that, we'll set up a GoFundMe, and when we hit about 300,000 quid, so I can buy a little small holding, then we'll move in together.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm still not giving up my flat.
Sublet it. Right then, the catastrophic failure of Dubai's man-made islands.
Yes.
So this is Sunny V2, who we reacted to the other day.
Oh yeah, he's really interesting.
Yeah, he did the guy that lost 204 million.
Yeah, that poor Terrence
Vegas.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about like the abuse of the system and how it is the responsibility of the casino as well as obviously the patron.
Yeah.
But they were clearly letting him and encouraging him to be completely wasted at all times.
Absolutely, of course they were. But like I said, I watch all of Sunny V2's new videos, and now I'm waiting and watching them with you.
Oh, exciting!
Yeah, so there you go.
Special.
You are. You're very special. Very, very special. Right then, should we check it out?
Yes.
Right.
Joke.
I thought of a joke that was like that I can't repeat.
Nice.
Anyway, right, the catastrophic failure of Dubai's man-made islands.
Okay.
We're even wireless as well. Look.
I know, well, you can't see mine, but yes.
Dubai's man-made islands were supposed to look like this: luxury, exuberance and grandiosity. Instead, after 20 years of work and $13 billion, they make up an unimpressive scatter of sand with a few barely recognizable continents. Where did it all go wrong? When the idea came about in 2001, Dubai had limited coast left for waterfront property, setting into motion the plan of, well, creating more coastline through the introduction of 4 new coastal mega projects. There was the World Archipelago, and what was supposed to have been the universe surrounding it, the Palm Dira, the Palm Jebel Ali, and finally the Palm Jumeirah, which has since become the only successful development for a few notable reasons. Firstly, the Palm Jumeirah was built prior to the other projects, having been completed in 2006 before the global financial crisis. On top of this, Jumeirah was the smallest and most easily accessible of the 4 projects, being built off the already established Al Sufu, a popular area known for being the most expensive district in all of Dubai. The Palm itself has been planned incredibly well, with a perfect mix of residential and commercial property, making it a self-sustaining area with businesses for the residents.
Like, what an immense property to own. Literally coast back and front of your house. Your front garden and your back garden is coastline.
My whole life, my dad has always said you need to live 100 feet above sea level. And it's like, he's panicked me my whole life about when the ice caps melt and things like that.
Not in our generation.
Well, who knows, but you know,
better not be.
Some conspiracy people, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but
you read a lot of them.
say that you know, banks wouldn't be lending people millions to buy waterfront property.
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm not into conspiracy theories.
No.
It's beautiful though. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it?
I think I watched on Netflix, you know this building in the background, it's a hotel with shops. And I watched a documentary on Netflix about mega like restaurants and mega businesses. I think you and I caught a couple of them because I showed you the one where that guy built that entire like restaurant out of like recycled wood, you know, like old train track beams and things. I'm sure I showed it to you.
I don't think you did.
Right. It was unreal, by the way. It was an epic, like, this thing. And they talked about how all the wait staff get in and out. And they've got all these like tunnel systems all underneath this hotel, so that they are literally in like service tracks underneath the hotel. Yeah. And they've got these immense restaurants. They've got all these really high price and high end sort of like shops and things. Everything you could ever want in a hotel. And it was such an amazing thing. And I'm sure it was this one that they covered.
We reacted to one about the Burj Khalifa, I think it is, which is the, you know, the really tall one.
Yeah.
Over at the Office Blokes, we reacted to that. And they said that every morning, 17 like petrol tankers. They look like petrol tankers have to drive up and empty the sewage of the whole hotel.
Wow.
And it's like, it kind of takes a bit of the romance out of it, because they're obviously battling so hard to have this there in that location.
They just don't have the means to, like, sewage control and waste.
Yeah. It's a desert, essentially. It's madness.
However, that's not to say that the project has been without problems. Shortly after its completion, the New York Times reported that the Palm Jumeirah, as well as the 3 other mega projects, were all sinking back into the ocean at a rate of 5 millimeters per year, with one article stating, "We're guessing that sand piled up from the ocean floor isn't all that good at sustaining the weight of tons of man-made structures, cars,
well
and
done.
so forth."
Why didn't
The
they
island's
do any
developer,
tests?
Nikhil Properties, responded to these claims by stating, "The palm is intact. If there was subsidence, you would see cracks in the buildings, windows popping out. We have no evidence of that happening," even going so far as to sue the builder, Penguin Marine, who simply stated that erosion could eat away at the islands. Then there's the issue of the water itself. The 3 man-made palms were designed with a crescent on the outside, protecting the residential houses on the inside from the open ocean. Although this has since resulted in issues with water flow, essentially turning the ocean into a lake by stagnating the water within the crescent. On top of this, a study was published in 2022 discussing the Palm Jumeirah Island's construction effects on the surrounding water quality and surface temperatures, which found that the island's construction permanently changed the quality and temperature of the water, causing yet another concern from the public to do with the environment. I have so many questions though, ecological and economic concerns. Did the construction of the islands drive away marine life? Where did the brought-in sand come from? And what methods did they use to make sure that the original place of the sand didn't suffer any ecological disaster?
Do you know what this has made me think of? It's also in Dubai. It's a really wealthy businessman who lives out there, and he decided he was bored with his money, so he had his name carved into.
Seen it?
Yeah.
We reacted to. You can see it from space, can't you? We reacted to it over at the Office Blokes a couple of years ago.
But the documentary I watched was explaining how it had damaged like ocean life and like this, like raising the temperatures and things. It's like, we're doing enough.
These people don't care about this sort of stuff.
We're doing
the people
enough.
building this sort of stuff and the money you're talking about, they don't care about
It's like Dubai has one of the biggest water parks on the planet, and it's like, you're in a desert. Where are you getting this water from?
It's a huge fuck you to nature.
Oh, seriously.
It really is.
Oh, mate.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not for me. Like,
Well, a mate of mine lives in Dubai, and she says like that it's extravagance, and it's a really lovely place to live apparently, but it is very extravagant. And then she sent me a picture. She was in the supermarket, well, like in a shopping mall, and some guy just walked through with his horse because it was so hot outside.
I'm all right with
the
that, to be
supermarket.
fair.
It was all like air conditioned.
I'm not mad at that.
Construction began on the islands back in the early 2000s. Environmental sustainability wasn't the massive concern that it is these days. The islands were built by transporting 94 million cubic meters of sand from the seafloor, displacing marine life in the process. A Duke University study from 2006, which analysed the island's impacts on marine wildlife, found that the Palm Jumeirah has buried and asphyxiated wildlife, increased turbidity and changed the alongshore sediment transport, while also completely changing the wave patterns on the mainland. The 2006 WWF Living Planet report then found that at the time, the average person in the Emirates puts more demand on the global ecosystem than any other, giving the country the world's largest per capita ecological footprint, owed in part to projects such as the 4 man-made islands. And if these issues apply to even the most successful island, then the other 3 unsuccessful islands must have even more problems. Take for example the Palm Jebel Ali to the south, which suffers from one of the most unfixable property-related issues, a terrible location. I had the chance to view the islands from the shore as they were being built. Even before viewing them in person, I could never understand why anybody would want to live in that location. The Palm Jebel Ali is located so far south of the city, its closest notable development is the Dubai Port and Industrial District, while the Palm itself extends from nothing besides the already existing desert, which isn't exactly the greatest spot. The original plan.
Although I would probably prefer something out in the outskirts.
You'd build houses in that patch of desert before you do that.
Well, yeah, but also why build it near an industrial estate? Even when you play like Sim City, it's like don't build near an industrial estate because people don't want to live near that. It's like your old place, it was near a sewage line, wasn't it? That your rental before you got your house back, and that used to stink in the area because they'd be it was horrendous.
What Office Bloke Daz said about this, because he's been to Dubai a lot, is that in the outskirts, that's where all the workers live. and a lot of the workers
Yeah.
are of like Pakistani and Indian descent, and essentially they go there and it's almost slave labour, and they're the people living on the outskirts, and in a lot of cases when there's a building project, the passports get taken away, and it's literally like you look at how the Qatar World Cup was built. It's the same sort of thing.
Jesus.
So if you're in this patch out of town, it's probably not good. It's obviously not where you want it to be.
No.
It's probably surrounded by the sort of
Essentially
the
the
less
slums.
desirable
Yeah.
bits of Dubai, and people are going to spend millions on properties on it.
You just wouldn't, would you?
No.
It's like, why would I want to?
And for this palm included a new residential district at the entrance. However, as you can see, they never really got there. Some sand and road work has been completed on the palm, although if you look a little closer, there are signs showing that the project had to halt suddenly. For example, these broken sectors at the end of the palm indicate that they weren't quite finished laying sand. And see this little island over here to the southwest? Well, that was supposed to be another artificial island called the Dubai Waterfront, designed to combat erosion on the palm. However, as you can see, the waterfront project...
Did you see that in that picture? They looked like they tried to build up the area, because this was all the desert originally in that first picture that he was showing us, but obviously their design was to try and build the infrastructure there and obviously expand the city outwards. But it's still, you've still got an industrial place in between, you know, this beautiful property apparently and the city.
I think you've got a limit to how many people want to live in Dubai as well, if I'm being honest.
Maybe, but it'd be the same rules because it's just down the way from Dubai.
No, but what I mean is you can expand and expand and expand. Doesn't mean you're going to sell all the properties. Doesn't mean you're going to fill it.
No.
And the money they're investing is absolutely insane.
Did I ever tell you, like, you know, when I left my first degree and decided it wasn't for me, I was looking for something to fill my time while I decided what I was going to go and do. And my mom used to work for a recruiting agent in this country, and she offered for me to go for a 2-year contract in Dubai to a plastic surgery, but she made it very clear that because the way they are over there, I would be expected to literally show tits all the time, have huge amounts of makeup.
Really?
Yeah. So on the front desk of this plastic surgery, and they would be expecting me to have like fillers and things on, you know, and advertise that. But it was a big apartment, all to myself, rent-free, $2,000 a month, tax-free. Oh. Yeah, I was so tempted, but I was like,
I'd get my lips done for that.
Well, this is what I mean, and I was like, I could pay the university by myself with that. You look fabulous with dick lips.
Dick lips?
I said duck.
You said dick lips.
I said duck. It's just because my accent. You have to say duck.
You did.
Has also since been abandoned. Official data was published showing that Nikhil sold only 29 houses on the Palm Jebel Ali before it ceased construction in 2009, with this date hinting at the first major problem.
Dubai has been hit by the global financial crisis, especially in real estate. Mega projects like the artificial island off the coast are in danger of collapse. Many construction sites have shut down.
The global financial crisis evaporated demand for Dubai housing, with prices falling by over 60% in 2008 and 2009. The empty Palm Jebel Ali was abandoned as Dubai's lower property prices meant Nikhil could no longer earn enough to cover its construction costs, which was then tied in with an even more serious problem. The developer of the man-made islands was funded by the Dubai government, which relied on oil for its income, which over a 6-month period in 2008 dropped from $140 a barrel to $40 a barrel. This meant that on top of being unable to fetch the property prices they needed, the developers no longer had the money to build the homes in the first place, and it's not like a better location offered a fix to this problem. The Palm Dira to the north was set to be Dubai's largest of the 3 palms, possibly for its central location close to the city and airport. However, this project made it no further than an entrance and a small section at the tip of the crescent. For this reason, in 2013, the project was rebranded as the Dira Islands, with the goal of utilizing the half-built area to feature 80 hotels, multiple residential towers, as well as a golf course. The project should be completed in accordance with Dubai's 2040 master plan, which might still be sooner than the most catastrophic of the 4 man-made islands, the World. The 2003 promotional video for the World described it as an island paradise where unprecedented opportunity can be found, before going on to state that residents and visitors will enjoy an exceptional array of retail venues. The video showed lavish green islands with prestigious villas, boats and cafes, calling it the ultimate in exclusivity, and while this this might be true to some extent, it's likely because nobody else has any desire to be there. The islands themselves look like an absolute travesty. North America and Canada are shaped like a diamond and cut off by what appears to be the North Pole, while Greenland is the same size as the North American continent, when in reality Greenland is approximately 20 times smaller. Australia looks more like the head of a dog, while New Zealand is shaped like an archway and is missing the bottom half of the country.
No.
Yet the shape
New Zealand is a cock and
That
ball.
is, yeah, it's literally.
As an Australian, Sonny V2 should have said that.
I know. Oh dear. Well, actually, it could just be. No, I see it.
It's a side shot.
Yeah, it's a side.
Shaping of the islands is a pretty small problem in comparison to their complete lack of development. Over 90% of the islands are completely empty, despite being 60% sold 15 years ago, with most being used for Google Maps advertising of computer stores, cafes, and of course the swag like Ohio Beach. However, that's not to say that there hasn't been any construction on the islands. A $7 million house was built by the developers in the northwest corner of Greenland, which was then bizarrely gifted to the German Formula One driver Michael Schumacher, who's never even commented on the project or given any indication that he's even visited the house.
Can you
And
imagine?
he's also very ill.
I know, yeah. Why?
Like he never recovered from that skiing accident, did he?
No.
Apparently he's like barely able to function.
I didn't realise it was that bad. I knew he'd suffered quite badly after that accident.
It's been very private, but I think his daughter came out not too long ago and said that he's, not good at all.
That's terrible. Well, did I tell you as well? She's a mate of an old mate anyway, but she's an structural engineer, and she moved over to Dubai probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
And she was working on those underwater bedrooms. So she was building and obviously structurally designing all those underwater bedrooms. So obviously when you went down into those houses where it has the stilts, your bedroom was below the surface, obviously in glass, and so your whole room was just a tank, which is so cool. But
it's cool, but nah.
What an extravagance.
I've seen restaurants like that, and I'll go down there for 2 hours for a meal. I'm not sleeping in a room like that.
Well, you heard about that giant fish tank that just went
in Berlin.
Yeah.
I'm good.
On top of this, the island of Lebanon has been developed into a beach club, which can be used to escape the noise of the city. When it was visited by Yes Theory in their Exploring Dubai's Empty Islands video, he showed that the Lebanon island was fairly empty, yet he also noted that it was right in the middle of COVID, which likely impacted its popularity at the time. The beach club describes itself as the first development to open its doors to the public, yet this might hint at why the rest of the world's islands are yet to be developed. There's nothing else around. Without any close businesses or things to do, people aren't going to build houses out there, but at the same time, without any houses, business owners aren't going to go and launch a business out there. Given the isolated location, the only people to use any such business would be those already on the islands, because it's not going to be efficient for a mainlander to get on a boat and travel all the way out to the world just to buy something at a store. Even then, what kind of business are you going to launch in the middle of the ocean with nothing else around? What's even crazier is that between 2023 and 2028, Nikhil Properties plans to develop another set of islands around the world called the Universe, which seems totally crazy given the lack of success on the existing islands, for which a Reddit user had a different theory about.
What that looked like that made me think of?
Go on.
That picture.
A crab?
No. Have you read Terry Pratchett?
Yeah, no, but I know what you're going to say, the Discworld.
Yeah, on the turtle's back.
Yeah.
With the elephants underneath holding it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what it made me think of, because there's the turtle's head.
What scale are we talking about here? Because they just showed one of those islands and it had a big development on it. Is this over... How many miles is this across?
That's a very interesting question. I wouldn't know, but I'm still like reeling from the fact of the damage they're doing to our environment even further when the desert's already hot enough. And they're adding to that, and then they're changing the literally the wave like motions and the life around it.
Just Stop Oil should go out there and do something about it, shouldn't they?
What, glue themselves to the
themselves
islands?
to the sand.
At least they'd be able to get up instead of that guy who glued himself to the tarmac.
No, just stay there. Melt yourself to the sand, you larvae.
and the lack of success on the existing islands, for which a Reddit user had a different theory about their failure. My understanding is that when the master developer sold the islands, you didn't just buy a plot of sand in the sea, you bought much more. The land was sold with infrastructure, and that included electricity, potable water, waste management for trash, waste management for sewage, transportation links, water taxis. When the master developer handed over the islands, they said, nope, you're on your own, none of the above. The reason why so few have built on their islands is because now they have them, they have to build their own power plants, desalination plants, water sewage treatment facilities, find someone to take all their trash, and provide all the transport to bring all their guests to and fro. For most developers, they don't have the experience, ability, or funding to do all the above. The only thing they could do is walk away or try to find a new buyer for their island.
Yeah, you do with like waste and obviously transportation.
In Dubai.
There's still insurances, surely.
Just backhanders. Everything would just be backhanders.
Well,
it's not like over here.
Dear me.
Island, but knowing the current facts, who would buy them? Despite these limitations, a luxury hotel complex called the Heart of Europe has recently been completed on the European islands in the world, which has some absolutely insane features, such as a snow room, a massive sauna, and an underwater bedroom, which in a weird way shows that the project has been somewhat successful. The point of the islands was to increase Dubai's coastline and tourism by doing something unprecedented, and while only one of the 4 mega projects has been successful, they've certainly generated some very interesting discussion.
That's really interesting. It looks amazing, but I'm angry at how it's affecting our planet. And what is the point? Why build into the ocean when you could just like literally cultivate all that desert and change the desert back to, you know, greenery?
Well, have you seen the is it in Dubai that they're building the city that's thin? That's just the whole length of the country.
No, that's
or is it Abu Dhabi?
No,
it's United Arab Emirates. Is it?
I think it is, yeah, because it's all down that one main river, isn't it? Because the first thing I thought is that's very similar to what the stories are with the River Nile, all the way down Africa, all the way through like the harsh areas. That's what a lot of cultures did, was they literally set up civilization around the River Nile. I
think this is just crazy extravagance. Like, you know, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are supposed to be 2 of the richest people on Earth.
Yes.
I've heard lots of people say, on record, the richest people, but there's literally trillionaires.
Yeah.
There's already trillionaires in the Middle East.
I know.
You know, oil families that have been doing it for decades and decades. And it's like when you've got that sort of money behind you and you go,
let's build a fucking island.
Yeah, what's it going to cost? 2 billion. All right, do it. Get it done.
But why not spend that money like expanding into the desert and making literally oases and like
oases? You know what I think it is? It's the pyramids. I think it's essentially building their own version of the pyramids. It's like I'm building a wonder of the world under my sort of rule.
Then build another another pyramid,
it's been done.
Bigger. Doesn't matter if it's been done. You can't go inside them because they're sacred. So why not make one that's like literally levels and floors of different things? It's like that shopping in is it Toronto, where it's all underground. It's 25 kilometers of underground shopping because it's so cold in Canada. That's cool. Why not do something like that?
No one's good. That won't be there in 1,000 years. Whereas the thought behind this is probably that they're creating they're changing the world map, and that'll be remembered forever. It's probably ego. I think it's probably ego. Anyway, let us know what you thought of that.
Controversial topic.
It's not controversial.
I think it's controversial.
Nah, but let us know what you think of the setup as well. Is the lighting okay?
Yeah.
Is the audio okay? Hopefully it's all worked. You're not seeing it if it's not worked, so.
Obviously.
Yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you want us to film on set at I Am Ash's flat more often, then all you have to do is tell us.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even tell because it's just my couch. And that it's a weird junky setup. We could be sat on your couch pretending.
It's your junky couch with a weird junky setup.
My couch is amazing. I got it off Facebook for free.
Right, cheers for that one, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.